If you've been scrolling through endless spec sheets, watching unboxing videos, and still feel like you're stuck in a decision loop, you're not alone. The laptop market right now feels like a maze, especially when you're trying to balance a need for creative firepower, a portable form factor, and a price tag that doesn't scream budget only. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video, I'm going to walk through exactly why the Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio 2 might be the one device that finally makes sense for you, or why it could be the wrong move, even if the headline numbers look tempting. First off, let's talk about the kind of day the Surface Laptop Studio 2 is built for. Imagine you're a freelance graphic designer who flips between Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and a bit of Premiere Pro for quick video edits. You need a screen that lets you see colors accurately, a pen that feels like a real brush, and enough GPU muscle to render a 4K timeline without a hitch. At the same time, you still have to hop on a coffee shop Wi-Fi, pull out your laptop, and get to work within 5 minutes. The Studio 2's 14.4-inch 24001600 touchscreen, combined with the MTC Stylus, is meant to be that bridge between studio-grade canvas and on-the-go notebook. Now, the first thing I looked at was the core of the machine, an Intel Core i7-13700H paired with an RTX 4050. On paper, that's a powerhouse 13th gen CPU cores that can juggle multiple threads, while the RTX 4050 brings ray-traced graphics into a laptop that's still thin enough to slip into a backpack. In real-world terms, that means you can open a 30-layer Photoshop file, apply a filter, and still have enough headroom for a Chrome tab or two. I tested that by opening a large PSD project while streaming a tutorial on YouTube. The laptop stayed cool enough that the fan noise was barely audible. For a creator who can't afford to lose time waiting for a render, that's a concrete win. The pen experience deserves its own shout-out. Microsoft Stylus attaches magnetically and charges wirelessly when it's docked, so you're never scrambling for a USB-C charging cable mid-sketch. The pressure sensitivity feels smooth, and the tilt support works out of the box in apps like Clip Studio Paint. I spent an afternoon sketching a storyboard, and the latency was low enough that the line followed my hand almost instantly. If you've ever tried a generic capacitive pen on a laptop and felt the lag, this is a noticeable upgrade that actually changes how you work. But no device is perfect, and that's where the hidden trade-offs start to surface. The first issue that popped up for me was the weight. At just under 4 pounds, the Studio 2 is heavier than a typical Ultrabook. If you're planning to carry it around all day, especially on a commuter train, the extra heft will be felt. It's still portable, but the Studio part of the name is a reminder that Microsoft expects you to treat this more like a mobile workstation than a featherlight notebook. Another practical concern is the battery life. The 53Wh battery is decent, but with the RTX 4050 pulling power during a GPU-intensive task, you're looking at roughly 4 to 5 hours of mixed use before you need to plug in. In my tests, editing a 10-minute video clip on Premiere while the screen was at full brightness drained the battery to 20% in about 3 hours. If you're the type who works from cafes for half a day without access to power, you'll probably need a charger on your lap or an external power bank. Thermals also deserve a mention. The Studio 2's slim chassis means there's limited room for heat to escape. Under sustained load, say, a long 3D rendering session, the fans spin up noticeably louder than on a typical business laptop. The heat does not throttle performance in a way that's obvious, but the acoustic comfort drops. If you work in a quiet environment, like a shared office or a library, the fan noise could become a distraction. Now let's break down who should actually consider buying this machine. The sweet spot is creators who need a high-resolution, color-accurate touchscreen and want a pen that feels like a real drawing tool, but who also need enough GPU horsepower to dabble in light 3D work or video editing. It's also a good fit for students in architecture or industrial design programs where a stylus and a decent GPU are more useful than a massive desktop setup. For those people, the value isn't just in the raw specs, it's in the integrated workflow that Microsoft has built: pen, touch, and a hinge that flips into a studio mode, allowing a more natural drawing angle. On the other side of the coin, if you're a pure gamer looking for a machine that can push high frame rates in the latest AAA titles, you'll be disappointed. The RTX 4050 is competent for creative apps, but it won't deliver the same experience as a dedicated gaming laptop with a larger cooling solution and a higher